Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today, you can see there's no preamble, we're straight into it, we're into the spreadsheet already, not even walking around the Arcanum or Ravenwood or wherever I usually walk, we're just straight into it today. Today, we're talking about the zoning prices in Wizard101. Now, this video idea came to me when a lot of people from the Arc 1 Pass commented on the fact, asking either how much is it worth it to buy the Arc 1 Pass compared to buying the areas for crowns, or also some people who bought areas for crowns acknowledging the fact that yes, it's very much worth it to buy the Arc 1 Pass. So today what I wanted to do was I wanted to calculate all of the zoning prices, add them up together, and ask really how much does it cost to buy all of Wizard101 and own it forever. Now, if somehow you don't know, instead of buying a member, if you go to an area that requires a membership, for a set amount of crowns, you can actually purchase that area. Most worlds are separated into like 6 to 7 different zones that you can purchase for crowns. Purchasing them, purchase it for the entire account, and everyone will be able to go into that area permanently until the end of time, or if your account gets unfortunately banned somehow. Now, obviously, there is that versus buying a membership. I'm gonna have a section towards the end of this video where I talk about, is it worth it to buy a membership, whatever. But enough rambling, let's get into actually the zoning prices. Now, how I separated it is I separated it into different arcs, and then I have a total at the bottom here. You can't see it, it's below this, below my mouse, but you can see if I click here, I can look at the different arcs. If for some reason you want to see this, the spreadsheet will be in the description. You don't really need this because there is just a straight up a page on wizard101.com that has all the zoning prices, but I figured at the very least I could put it in the description just in case anyone wants to look at it. But if you look at it here, starting off with Wizard City, technically most of Wizard City is free. Cyclops Lane and Firecat Alley are free for a limited time, but we have no idea what the limited time is. Approximately a year ago, they made it so that Firecat Alley, Cyclops Lane, and the Oasis were free, and then they just haven't gone back on it. We all thought it was for only like a month, but it's been permanent since then, so we have no idea how limited that limited time is. But for Wizard City, all of it's free except for 3 areas: Colossus Boulevard, the Crab Alley areas, and then Sunken City. And you can see it's 750 crowns a piece. So in total, Wizard City is free, but if you want the side areas, it's 2,250 crowns, or about $5. Next up is Crocotopia, which obviously the Oasis is free, but for 3,500 crowns, which is like a little under $10, that would be like 750 maybe if you wanted to equate it to money, you get the Pyramid of the Sun areas. For another 3,500, you get the Crocosphinx areas, and then finally for another 3,500, you get everything in the Tomb of the Storms. Now, for an extra 915 crowns, you can buy the Tomb of the Beguiler, which I don't know why you would, because I don't think it gives any really good drops, but you can get that for 950 crowns. All of Crocotopia is 10,500, which is a bit around $20, and then 11,415 for the side areas. For Marleybone, it is basically just 1,200 per area, except for the fact that like Counterweight East, Counterweight West, and Big Ben are all separate. So the last 3 dungeons of the world total are like 3,600 crowns, which is kind of crazy. That's like very expensive, and I don't know why King's Isle did that, but it's 10,800 for all of the areas for the main quest. And then also Kensington Park is another 1,200 crowns. I don't know why you would buy Kensington Park. Similarly to Tomb of the Beguiler, it's just a difficult area that doesn't really have any good drops as far as I know. Next up, we have Mushu, and this is all main quests. It's 1,200 per zone. There's quite a few zones for a total of 10,800. Dragonspire is similar, up to a total of 10,800. And then on the spreadsheet here, if I go over here, I just realized you couldn't even see Dragonspire. I included Aquila and Grizzleheim in the Arc 1 section. Personally, I would recommend, if you're buying Aquila with crowns, only buy Mount Olympus for 2,495. It's only $5 to have Mount Olympus permanently, because realistically, Mount Olympus is going to be the only area you actually want to do in Aquila, in my opinion. Like Atlantia and Tartarus aren't really that worth doing. Grizzleheim is a total of 9,975 for Grizzleheim, and then another 9,975 for Wintertusk, for a total of 19,950 crowns, which is going to be like $30, $40 to buy all of Grizzleheim, which is a bit insane. So if you add it up entirely, Arc 1 is a total of 45,395 crowns to complete all of the main quests. If you add in Mount Olympus, it's 47,890. And if you want to buy all of the side areas plus all of the main quest areas in Arc 1, it is 76,035 crowns, which is like $100. So to everyone who asked the question, is the Arc 1 Pass worth it? It's $100 to buy this, or at the very least, if you just take the 45,000 number for all the main areas, that's going to be like at least 60 to 80 bucks, I believe, versus 20. So yes, the Arc 1 pass is worth it if you're talking about buying the areas permanently. I saw some people asking, like, is it worth it compared to Crowns? Yes, it very much is. Now moving on to Arc 2, I included the Tale of Four Dungeons here just because I figured that some people would want to know, and obviously Darkmoor is going to be one of the most instrumental dungeons to do, so I included Darkmoor as well. Celestia, it's $16.95 for 6 different sets of zones. For Zafaria, it's $16.95 for another 6 set of zones. For Avalon, it's $16.95 for another 6 set of zones. And then for Azteca and Chrysalis, it's $19.95 for another 6 sets of zones. If you add up all of that for the main quest of Arc 2, it would be 54,540 crowns, which I believe is $60 worth of crowns. Let me pull up my handy dandy crowns screenshot right here. Sorry, that would be $80. So $80 for all of Arc 2. If you want Darkmoor as well, it's going to be an extra 3,000. And then if you want all of the Tale of Four Dungeons, it's 63,440 crowns. Arc 3 is a bit more simple because Arc 3 is just 3 worlds, and I included the catacombs just to throw it on. I do not recommend buying the catacombs. So if you want to buy the catacombs, just don't. It's 6,000 crowns, which is like over $10. They're making it an awkward price specifically, so you have to buy $15 worth of crowns. Let's just talk about Polaris through Imperia. It's $19.95 for 5 areas for Polaris, which is 9,975 total. Mirage is $19.95 for these zones, which will total to 11,970. And then Imperia Part 1 and Part 2 in total, 6 different purchases for like 15 different zones is 11,970. So for literally everything, it's 33,915 crowns in Arc 3, and then obviously for an extra 6,000 crowns, you can get the catacombs. I do not recommend the catacombs, but I figured if I didn't include it, someone would at least ask about it. Next up, we have Arc 4. Arc 4 has Caramel, Lemuria, Novus, and Wallaroo. There's no real side areas for this one. Caramel, it's 22.95 crowns in 5 separate purchases for 11,475 total. For Lemuria, it's 22.95 in 6 separate purchases for 13,770 total. Novus is 22.95 for only 4 areas, which is 9,180, and then Wallaroo is 5 areas, 22.95 a piece for 11,475, for a total of 45,900 crowns, which again is going to be probably around $60 to $80 depending on how you split it up. So that is the total for that. And finally, I figured I would include Arc 5 here. Obviously, if you look at this, Darkmoor isn't actually out yet, and I have no idea what the prices would be. I can make an educated guess and say that probably it's going to be $22.95, at least 4 separate purchases, I would guess. So it's going to be pretty similar to this number right here. It's at 9,180 for the $22.95 and 4 purchases right now. I think that's going to double when Darkmoor comes out. And then obviously, if Arc 5 ends up being like another 4 worlds, it's going to be a total very similar to the Arc 4. So that is all of the arcs laid out in all of the purchases. Let's get into the total amount that it would cost. So you can see here, I listed the numbers for your convenience right here, and then I listed the side quest numbers right here. So for all of Arc 1, it is a total of 188,840 crowns, which if you were to lay it out in purchases, the maximum crowns purchase is $100 for 80,000 crowns. That is the best value. If you purchase 2 of those, you'd still only have 160,000, so you would need to add another $50 purchase on top of that for a minimum of $250 for all of the game for the main quests only. This is not including things such as Mount Olympus, such as Darkmoor. This is just the main story as is right now. Now, obviously that sounds insane, but that's not even taking into the fact that most people are not going to be purchasing all of these areas at the same time. Now, what I mean by that is that obviously for $100, you can get 80,000 crowns, but most people aren't going to purchase these packs in $100 worth of crowns to get that 80,000. Most people are probably going to buy like a $25 one to purchase the area. You know, maybe they want to purchase a few areas, so they buy like $50 worth of crowns. It's probably going to be more than $250 for most people. Most people are probably going to be spending $300 to $350 for all of the main quests, because obviously, again, most people, unless they purchase all of these crowns in bulk right at the beginning, most people probably aren't going to buy it all at the same time. That's not even accounting for the fact that with all the side quests, if you want to buy every area in this game, it is a total of 234,000 1,470 crowns, or $300 minimum, and that's obviously if you bought it all at once. It could go even higher if you didn't. Looking at it now, laying out all of the numbers, let's talk about two things. First off, let's quickly talk about the fact, is the Arc 1 pass worth it? Very much yes. You can see here, the Arc 1 pass is $20 to get all of the main quests in Arc 1, right? And I saw some people complaining about the fact that it didn't include Colossus Boulevard and it didn't include Crab Alley, whatever. I think it does include Colossus Boulevard, by the way. But while it might not include those, you really don't need those. And even if you wanted to do them, it would only be like a $5 purchase to get those areas with crowns. So it would still only be $25. Whereas paying for all of the areas with crowns without getting the Arc 1 pass is going to cost at minimum $80. Minimum $80. So yes, the Arc 1 pass is worth it. If you want to buy areas for crowns and you don't want to buy a membership, obviously yes, the Arc 1 pass is worth it. Now let's get into the final question of this video. Is it worth it to buy this game in terms of purchasing a membership versus actually buying all of the areas with crowns? Well, obviously I'm not going to be the one to tell you how to live your life and how to spend your money, but personally, obviously I've never really bought areas for crowns. For me, it probably would have been a good idea. If I bought areas for crowns, I probably would have saved a massive amount of money, because I have two accounts, and if I purchase, 2 yearly memberships, that's going to be like $100, and realistically, I've played this game for about 14 years, and I've probably spent well over $1,000 in terms of just purely membership cost for this game, and I'm sure many people are similar. So technically, I would say if you do plan on playing this game, and you plan on playing this game for a long time, yes, it could be worth it. However, 99% of the time, for most people, it's going to just be better to just buy a membership, especially considering the fact that you can cancel the membership after a month, or if you're on console, you can obviously just not buy another elixir. And a lot of people aren't going to be playing back-to-back months. You might have something come up, or you might be bored of Wiz or burnt out of Wiz. So for a lot of people, it's better to just have a monthly membership or a yearly membership and then cancel and buy it again at your leisure. I tend to only buy Wizard101 membership in a monthly increment because I find that I don't usually play the game enough where I'm like, yeah, let me purchase a year's worth of membership, because I'll only play for like 3 or 4 months out of the year. So I hope that you guys found this helpful. I hope that you learned something today about crowns and how much this game costs. And oh god, the sun is blinding me. It's shining directly in my eyes. Please help. Obviously, this game is very expensive. A membership is outdated, and in fact, a lot of these zoning prices are quite outdated. I mean, like, just look at some of these. Like, this is $5 for one street, to put that into perspective. Like, the Wildlands in Lemuria is one street and probably about 10 to 15 quests, and it costs basically $5. It's a little crazy how expensive it is to buy everything for crowns, but mainly, this is KingsIsle's way of being like, hey, if any idiot is willing to spend a bunch of money on crowns to buy all the streets, sure, go for it. That's funny. That's good job. You just gave us money. I think that's KingsIsle's intention, is to be like, hey, it's pretty enticing, isn't it? And yeah, it's crazy expensive, but you can do it. So that's gonna be it for today. I'll leave it up to you whether you think it's worth it or not. I probably don't, but otherwise, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day.